power of words, the power of stories, the power of inspiration, the power of motivation. This is what we have in store today. Hey, I know it's early. You're just waking up. You're getting your first cup of coffee. And maybe you're thinking about going for a run. But then you rationalize it, right? Then you fight these wars with your head. You say that, well, it's Sunday. But if you're a real entrepreneur, like the powerful people who are joining me here today in studio, then you've been up hustling for at least a couple of hours. And this is lunch. And while you're thinking about what you're going to do today and what you're going to have for breakfast or going for that run, we already ate your lunch. Good morning, world. This is Francisco Javier, your host. And joining me in the studio, it is my pleasure to introduce my distinguished guest co-host, Brittany Ehrick, inspirational life coach, author, speaker. Brittany brings out the best in you by helping professionals realize their full potential and achieve their dreams they feel out of reach in an open, non-judgmental environment. Let me tell you something. You think you've got problems? You think you've got obstacles? Your nail broke? Brittany's story will put your problems in perspective. Trust me.
Nice.
After you hear her story, you will have no choice, absolutely no choice but to feel motivated. Good morning, Brittany.
Good morning, Francisco. It's so great to be here with you today. I am so
I
excited.
see that your first obstacle is getting the microphone right.
Yes, dropping down on me.
That's all right. We can always overcome that. This portion of the show is being brought to you by Gene Kernan with Local Motive Marketing, turning free Wi-Fi into your #1 marketing tool. When we come in today, we log into the Enfuego network. Kaboom. You just use our, what is it? Our social media keywords, or Facebook and LinkedIn, and bam, and you're logged in. You got Wi-Fi right away. I see Nikki did not do that, but that's okay. Scalp Alive International Tour. Learn about the scalp micropigmentation industry from Bryce Cleveland himself at scalpalivetour.com. That's going to happen next Saturday, the 14th, at Chaparral Suites. Is it Chaparral or Chaparral? What is it?
Chaparral?
Is it
Yeah.
Chaparral or Chaparral?
Chaparral.
Is it Chaparral?
I think it's Chaparral.
We think it's
Okay,
Chaparral.
Chaparral. Bryce Cleveland is going to be there himself. ScalpALiveTour.com. Also joining us in studio, we have two special guests. Minister Nikki Bagley, no stranger to radio. She is director of Arizona Minority Business Alliance, or is it AZ Minority Business Alliance, or is it Arizona?
AC.
AZ Minority Business Alliance, fostering growth of new businesses of minority, disadvantaged, and underserved segments of our community. She offers assistance with development financing, boldface underline, financing, marketing, and other essentials of business startups. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
And Sydney, no caffeine needed, Adams, owner and CEO of Dig Into Greatness. Sydney is known as one of the most dynamic speakers of his time. Of his time. Remember, of his time. So that time could be 24 hours, it could be an hour, it could be this next 5 minutes, we don't know. Sydney's also a motivational speaker who has motivated, encouraged, and taught thousands to achieve personal success. Good morning, Sydney.
Good morning.
All right, now let's go back to the top and let me welcome again Brittany Ehrick. Brittany, you have an amazing story.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me today.
I thank you, and thank you for being here this early. And again, for some of us, this is lunch, right? I mean, it's being up already, hustling a couple of hours, we're already making a couple of calls and text messages. Nick and I want to be asleep right now. But let me tell you something. Tell us a little bit about your story and why we should feel so inspired about what you do, and why is it that our problems, quote unquote, problems would seem to be insignificant and dwarf in the light of your story?
So everybody's story is different for them. And so my pain is my pain, and what I have gone through is my story of growing up in foster care, and then as a young adult getting a permanent feeding tube from surgeries that went unwrong and that didn't work out quite as well as we wanted them to. And so now, as an inspirational life coach, I am all about empowering individuals to change their life and make a choice for them now to be motivated and change and get off that couch, like you said, and make a difference and grab that pain that you've been through in your life and turn it into a fire that's only for you, for your fuel to become that leader and that great person on this earth.
Wow.
That is, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. But that is just part, right? Brittany, that is just part of your obstacles. I mean, that's then it gets interesting. What else happened?
So over the years, it was surgery after surgery, painful thing after painful thing, where I got to a point where all I did was doubt myself. I thought that there wasn't a place for me on this earth, that I was just here to do nothing, that I wasn't good enough to be anything. And so one day I talked to my higher coach, and I got close with my higher coach, and I asked him, I said, why? Why me? Why have I been through abuse? Why have I been through these obstacles before the time I've turned 30? Why me? It's me because I was chosen to lead people to choose the right choices for them, to find that life where they can finally get up and take a deep breath, and there's no more stress on top of them. They're not weighed down by tons and tons of bricks anymore. At bringing out the best in you, and in my personal life, we're all about giving those people the choice to finally live and stop dying.
Minister Nikki Bagley, we are chosen to lead.
Wow, absolutely.
We are chosen to lead.
I agree. I agree, absolutely. And it's not an easy calling. And as Brittany was saying, most successful leaders are tried by fire one way or the other, but it all comes down to that determination and what that motivation is for you, and it's so easy to see that she is definitely on fire for those things that she does, and I think that's amazing. And the world needs more Brittany's, really.
When you have so many strikes against you, when you have so many obstacles in front of you, it's very easy to give up, isn't it?
Sure it is. Sure it is. And, it's our very nature to take the path of least resistance. It is. It's our very nature to do so. So when you come across those courageous people who are willing to plow forward anyway, you really want to get to know them and follow where they're going, because they're about to do some things.
Sydney, you need to be in a very special place to be able to inspire people, right? Because if you're not at ease with yourself, if you're not at peace with yourself, how could you then lead others to greatness?
You're absolutely right, Francisco. Again, I mean, it's unbelievable, because everyone have a purpose in life. And once you grab onto that purpose in life, that what drives you through the valleys, through the peaks. That's when your negative people can't stop you. That's when you laser focused, okay? A lot of people is wide angle focused, but a lot of people is laser focused, okay? You got to be laser focused, because you got to burn through the wall. You got to burn through negative people. You got to burn through people who say you're not going to be anybody in life. And I think that's what Brittany have done. She got laser focused, and she burned through everything.
In studio, we have Brittany Ehrick, spiritual life coach. And of course, we have Minister Nikki Bagley and Sydney No Caffeine Needed Adams. And we are in studio today because this is a really special show. The latter half of the show, we're going to let's show those to everybody here in studio, and they're going to bring us the best of what they have in motivation. You're going to inspire tens of thousands of people. Each individual, we're going to have about 3 to 5 minutes, each one of us, except me. I'm here enjoying it, man. I'm here with the audience just listening and enjoying the power of motivation. But let's define what is really, Brittany, how do you define motivation? I mean, we might understand motivation or the power of motivation as many things. Is it that power that pushes us to take action toward achievement? What is it? How do you understand that power of motivation? I mean, you, of anybody in the world, often tell us your story. What is it?
So for me, the power of motivation is that feeling deep inside where if I don't do it, I feel like I'm not who I say I'm going to be. And if I don't use that motivation for good, and if I don't grab onto that and strive to be that better person in this world, my motivation goes for nothing. And instead, I use my motivation to help others. So the definition of motivation for individuals that are struggling with it, they don't quite feel that little bit of feeling in their gut. They don't have that yet. So when they just feel that spark, that tidbit of motivation, I want them to take a deep breath and ask themselves, where can I go to grab that motivation and make it stronger and bigger? Because without your motivation, what are you? If you don't have motivation, how are you supposed to get through this world when everybody else is trying to bury you?
Indeed. See, we all have desires. We all have wants. But what motivates us, and how do you define motivation? What gets us off the couch, off to the streets, and run those 3 miles?
I believe motivation is sometimes you got to attach yourself to the things in life that you love. Like, say, for instance, if you have children, if you have a daughter or a son, that son and daughter should motivate you to inspire and get up off that couch. Okay, because you got generations that gonna come behind you, and you don't want to drop that baton because you're the one who leading that race. Because if you drop that baton, your generations to come got to start back over at the starting line, and you don't want that to happen.
Exactly.
You want to pass that baton.
Right.
Yeah.
Nikki Bagley.
Man, true story.
Absolutely. There's a lot of people out there, and you come across a lot of folks who, in coming to you, if you will, for a need in their businesses, and you hear a lot of the pitches and things. But there is a lot of ideas, tons of ideas.
Tons of ideas.
But there's a few that actually take those ideas and actually execute. That is the motivation? Is that how do you define motivation in your world?
So motivation is that thing that makes you step outside of yourself. So basically, regardless of what the circumstances look like, this thing that we call motivation is that thing that pushes you forward, propels you forward, even though you don't want to get up out of the bed at 5 o'clock in the morning, even though you don't want to go to yet another meeting that's in a cold conference room, makes you go to the doctor to take care of your health, even if you don't want, you don't want the aggravation of it. Motivation is that thing that brings you out of yourself. And for me, motivation is making my father happy. So that means regardless of what I feel like, or, I get really embarrassed when things go sideways because of something I've done, because I know that ultimately I'm an embarrassment to him, so I've just jacked up the testimony
Right.
by not pushing forward, pushing through, doing what I said I was going to do, so it's bigger than me. And keeping that in mind, that it's not about me and everything about it is bigger than anything that I can go through,
Do you feel,
keeps me focused.
Do you feel that then that you always, even as you achieve a particular goal, that being achieved, now you have to go to the next one, and to the next one,
Absolutely.
to the next one, and continue the satisfaction. Is that how we're seeing this?
Yeah, really. And there's sometimes I really don't even look at something as a success until my assistants and I do a end of year review, and they were like, this. I was, oh, oh, okay, I guess that was. But it's always striving for excellence. And, unfortunately, some people, they're looking for perfection, but that's not that's not realistic. But striving for excellence in everything you do is attainable. And that's how, so I don't look at it as, oh, I've made this individual goal, even though I encourage my entrepreneurs to look at those individual goals. I have a big picture, and that's to hear well done. So in my big picture, those little things are just a means to an end.
Stepping stones to something much bigger. You're listening to the News and Fredo Show. In studio with Brittany Ehrick, spiritual life coach, Minister Nikki Bagley, director of AZ Minority Business Alliance, and Sydney, I'm going to say this again, no caffeine needed, Adams, owner and CEO of Dig Into Greatness. Digging into greatness means that you have to reach deep down inside into maybe a reservoir of motivation, of inspiration, of determination that we all have. But some of us, those motivations, those inspirations, those determinations factors, we can dig in ourselves and get them out. Correct?
Absolutely.
But there's a lot of folks out there who need somebody like you to go in there and dig into their greatness. Is that
You hit it right on the head. Absolutely. You got to go down inside yourself. Take a flashlight. Sometimes you got to take a flashlight down inside your soul. And once you take that flashlight down inside your soul, you start seeing all the beautiful treasures that is bottled up down on the inside. But a lot of people, though, we get buried because we go through life changes. We may then had a divorce. We may then be bankruptcy. We may lost our job. We may lost our finances. And so life throws us for a curveball, but man, you still got greatness down on the inside that you was born with just for this time and this day. I always tell people the race does not go to the swift nor to the strong, but to the one that endure to the end. And that's what you got to do. Go down there and shake them up and wake them up. And you'll wake up the next morning. Yep. You look back and say, I don't even know how I was sitting on the couch or laying in bed until 3 in the daytime. Get up. Get up.
Yeah, you
Get up.
Get up. Get him. Get him, brother. Listen up.
I know that's right. Get up.
Get up.
Get up. Get up. Get up. Everybody with me.
Get up.
Get up.
Get up.
Find your purpose.
Find your purpose.
Get up and find your purpose.
Absolutely.
What do you do? Brittany Ehrick, you have come through, we're listening to her story, and I just get goosebumps because, we have, all of us, we have problems, we have issues, and we have more problems, some of us do, and some of us have less problems, but nonetheless, there are issues that can be overcome. In your case, it's difficult because you're talking about life or death, right?
Right.
So what do you do to strengthen that motivation? But clearly you have that motivation, and something inside of you, propel you to advance, to overcome. Do you set goals? Do you, what do you do personally, and what do you coach other folks that want to overcome those obstacles? How do you strengthen that motivation?
So first of all, in my personal life as a personal coach, I strengthen my values by going to my higher coach. And I believe in God as my father. And I use God to motivate me because without him, I could not be who I am today. I could not be the strong woman because when I was down at the bottom of the tank alone, I was never alone. And so first of all, it's finding that partner who is going to be with you through the pain and the suffering, and who is going to show you that that pain and suffering isn't who you are and who you're meant to be. Instead, that pain and suffering is who you're meant to, the pain and suffering is what you're meant to use to help other people through their pain and suffering. And so we're on this earth to go through pain. And one of the things that I show my clients after we get through that baggage that they bring to their now is to wake up and notice that that baggage isn't yours to hold on to anymore. So let go of it and use it to become who you're going to be in this world. And so my baggage is a feeding tube, foster care, being a victim. And so the first thing we do is we get you out of victimhood, because we are not victims on this earth.
good.
Oh, yeah.
It's either dark or it's light.
Yep.
And in my practice, it's not dark or light. We are not here to be in a black and white world. We're here to have peace and happiness. But so much of us are so focused on what we can have instead of what we already have. And we're so focused on the material things when we have these families and these batons to hand off. And we have to hand those batons off with love and grace and happiness, not a bunch of this negativity all over it. Because when you have a generation of legacy, I want to hand that baton off to my family with a legacy of love and showing people your doubt is not who you are. And in my practice, I wake you up and I shake you out of that coma. Why are you in a coma when this is our chance to live? Of course, when we get to our higher place, whatever you believe in, when we get there, it's peaceful. There's no pain. There's no darkness. There's no stilling. But while we're here right now, we get to enjoy the stilling in the darkness and learn from it. And so I ask everybody just to wake up and see in the mirror the truth that you're beautiful and you're strong and you're meant to be here and you're meant to do more than be on the couch.
It is not important. It is not important. Everybody wants to jump right now. No,
Not right now. I tell you what, she's on fire.
She sure is on fire, guys. It is not important what has been done to you. What is important is what you do with what has been done to you.
Yes.
That is the lesson that I am getting today. Nikki, we procrastinate, right? We're talking about being in this at the bottom of this truck, right? We're listening to Brittany describe people being in this stage where everything is victimhood and everything is terrible. So we love being in that position, and that's lonely, right? And then of course we want other people to be there as well, right? Misery loves company.
That's what I've heard.
There's a huge song. And that's why all you have to do to ascertain this point is just to go to Facebook and see your friends, right? When you start posting something very good.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Look at that. That's not true. You start right?
Negativity is so pervasive, and it's so attractive to us as humans for whatever reason, so we want to see the misery of, our fellow man. I don't know what that's all about, but I love what Brittany was saying about taking your pain and rolling it into something positive, making sure that you didn't go through it for nothing, making sure that the lessons that were meant to be learned are not only learned, but they're shared. My pastor says something all the time: teach what you've been taught by living what you've learned, and that's tantamount to most entrepreneurs, actually, and me in particular, which is how I ended up in the business that I'm in. I know how to do a lot of things, and I learned to do those things to fill in the gaps of things that I was missing, those mistreatments, I guess, as I was growing up, and so on and so forth. But using those things that were trials for you should be used to uplift others.
There you go. On the other side, we will make radio history. We will do something unprecedented. We're going to get inspired. So don't you go anywhere, because you're listening to Entrepreneurs en Fuego Radio Show, the #1 multimedia broadcast show for entrepreneurs in the galaxy.
The galaxy.
We'll be right back.
Boy, that's good. Next.
Definitely.
Man.
Thanks for helping me get out there at first. It's just a little shaky on the edges.
This is good stuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
Man, I tell you what.
You picked up